It is extremely rare to see politicians from different parties all working toward the same goal. But that was the case in Ottawa today, with all of the premiers and the Prime Minister rallying around a common theme, responding to the severe blow that Donald Trump is threatening to deal to the Canadian economy in the form of tariffs.
We will stand up for Canada. We will protect Canadians. We will make sure that we are there to show what this country is made of.
And I've always said, I don't care about political stripes. I don't care if you're from the Orange Party, the Blue Party, or the Red Party. We're going to be united. We're Canadian. We're going to get this done.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford making a statement from the get-go this morning when he arrived wearing a hat with the slogan, "Canada is not for sale." That's a thinly veiled reference, of course, to Trump's talk about making Canada the 51st state. But with Trump returning to the White House on Monday, the threat of a 25% tariff on Canadian goods and services was front and center all day. Let's bring in our political correspondent, Glen McGregor. And Glen, there is so much we don't know about Trump's plan, including whether he'll actually go through with it. But what were you hearing today about how Canada might respond?
Yeah, Cynthia, these are usually acrimonious affairs, these meetings between a prime minister and the provincial and territorial leaders. Today, though, all the premiers came out really singing off the same page of music here, really saying that they were totally united here in their desire to resist these threatened tariffs. But there is one big asterisk, and that is in the form of Alberta Premier Daniel Smith, who decided not to sign on to something called the communique. That's a written agreement or statement of facts that come out of a meeting, but the Prime Minister says in terms of an exact plan on how Canada is going to respond, says that needs to wait until we see exactly what tariffs Trump is going to bring in. But he said he does favor the idea of dollar for dollar tariffs. That is, if they put a tariff on $1 of Canadian exports, we would respond.
So Glenn, for all the talk of a unified response, it's clear everyone is not on the same page, as you referenced, especially when it comes to American access to our oil and gas. Now, take a listen to what the leader of Newfoundland and Labrador had to say today.
I see energy as Canada's queen in this game of chess. We don't need to expose our queen too early. The opposition does need to know that the queen exists, but they don't need to know what we're going to do with the queen.
So, Glenn, this issue of retaliatory tariffs on Canadian energy is being pushed by some premiers, but it isn't sitting well with others, especially in the western part of the country.
That's right. So Daniel Smith, as we talked about, yeah, she is absolutely vehemently opposed, and she put out a message on X saying that Alberta cannot totally get behind the federal government's plan for retaliation for this exact reason. She says it's not fair to penalize Alberta. Doug Ford, though, of Ontario said, hey, listen, we all as premiers here at the table, we all have our own interests. For him, it's the auto sector. So Ford saying, listen, we've got to present a united front on this. Even though we all have our own areas we want to protect, we've all got to kind of stand together. Daniel Smith, though, at this hour, Cynthia, not standing together, saying keeping Alberta energy protected is a key issue for her, and she can't get behind the federal government's plan unless she knows that energy won't be singled out.
This is going to be interesting to follow. Glen McGregor, thank you very much.